What oil am I already using? Am I using oil on my scalp? Do I need to stop using oils and maybe just use a mist, etc.? Right? So just start to ask your questions. Because again, if you go to a professional or a doctor, they're going to start asking you questions, these same questions, to kind of get to the root of your problem. So you can ask these same questions. You can be your own loctician, y'all. Hey y'all, welcome back to Holistic Flow. I am your girl Lolo, and in today's video we're going to talk about itchy scalp. I have a couple things that I want to just tell about my own experience with itchy scalp with Locs and how to overcome it. Some things that you want to be mindful of if you feel like you have itchy scalp, of why might be the cause, so that depending on the cause of your itchy scalp, you can know what to do to combat it and also to prevent it in the future. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. I personally have had my Locs for about 3 years and some change, and in the starter lock phase was super weird for my hair and my scalp because I was transitioning from, being never locked before to my hair trying to get used to not being manipulated as much and staying in one spot. And then also the art of locking your hair is a long process of your hair just getting used to being tangled up all the time. So I went through that stage, or that starter lock stage, by the way, for about, I would say 8 months before my hair really started maturing. And then once my locks started really maturing is when it stopped being so itchy in my scalp. And so I just want to start by saying, if you have starter locks, which means that you're within probably 1 month to 1 year, and then after a year usually the locks start becoming more mature. But if you are in that starter lock phase, then most likely your hair and your scalp is just getting used to you not manipulating your hair as much, and because of that your scalp might be just getting used to your starter lock phase. Your hair or your scalp might be more itchy just because it has not been mature yet. So that's the first thing I'll say. I also want to make it clear that I am not a loctician and I'm also not a professional. So if some of these things don't apply to you, then they may not apply at this point. But I'm going to list a couple of causes of why your scalp might be itchy with your locks, whether you're in the starter lock phase or whether you're in the mature phase. If you have examined all of these causes and then none of them seem to be the cause, then maybe it's time to then seek a dermatologist and seek out professional help if none of the things today that I said actually apply to you. So the first reason that you might be experiencing itchy, irritated scalp and or dandruff is just because your scalp is dirty. In your starter lock phase, for example, a lot of us have been told that you don't want to wash your hair until maybe 2 months after you've had your starter locks, or that you just don't want to wash your hair a lot when you have starter locks. And I totally disagree. I think that when you have a clean scalp and clean hair, your hair actually locks faster. Because imagine if you are not trying to lock your hair and you wash your hair. After you wash your hair, you usually have to detangle it. Why? Because washing afro textured hair makes it get more tangled up and matted. So when you think about having a clean scalp, you want to wash your hair more or wash your locks more, because when you have a dirty scalp, it can cause some problems such as buildup on your scalp. That can lead to other things in your lock journey not going the way that they could go, such as, itchy scalp, dandruff, or even slowing down your locking process or even your hair growth process. I have here the shampoo that I've been using lately that I really love. It's by House of Isis, and they have a whole line. It's the Locked shampoo, and it removes lock buildup, and it also helps with itchy scalp. So I've been using this lately. It lathers really well, and it's Black women owned, animal free from animal testing, and it's 100% vegan. This Locked shampoo has patchouli, chamomile, frankincense, and also is infused with essential oils. Essential oils are really, really good for soothing the scalp. Essential oils are oils such as peppermint oil, tea tree oil, and if you find that your scalp is dirty and that's the reason why your scalp is itchy or irritated, then maybe you'd want to wash with a more clarifying shampoo. And just because it has oils in it does not mean it's not clarifying, because this is definitely clarifying. Or you'd want to make sure that you're washing your hair more often, because again, like I said, some of us have been told for whatever reason that we shouldn't wash our starter locks, which I feel like is not the way to go. Please do wash your starter locks. Oh, by the way, these House of Isis products, I am a brand ambassador for their products. So I do have a discount code where you get 15% off of your purchase with my link and my discount code LoloNR15. So you get 15% off, and the link is in the pinned comment below. So go ahead and visit that link for their products. So the second thing that might make your scalp more itchy is product buildup, which just builds off of my first point, that if your scalp is dirty and you don't wash it as often as you should, then you might have product buildup. So one thing that happens when you have product buildup is that you find that your scalp can't breathe. Our scalp needs to be able to breathe to, number one, like I said, be a healthy environment for our locks to grow. Because think about your locks as sort of like a plant, or where it is a plant, right? So, and then think of your scalp as a soil. So if your soil isn't good, or it's not good for growing the weeds or the plant out of it, and if it has all this dirt and muck on it, then your hair can't grow probably as fast or as healthy as it is, because the soil is the source of that plant growing healthy. So a clean scalp and a healthy scalp and a scalp that can breathe is better than a scalp that is bogged down with oils or has too much product on it. By the way, I think a perfect measure of how long you should go washing your hair is how long did you go washing your hair when you had loose natural hair. When you have loose natural hair, the amount that you wash your hair or shampoo your hair, to be more specific, is most likely how often you want to wash it when you have locks, because your hair is already going through enough changes when you have locks already. You want to keep certain factors, in my opinion, you want to keep certain factors constant, such as the amount that you wash your hair. So I wouldn't wash it any more or any less, and see if that helps your scalp dryness or your flakiness or your irritation. So for most people, that's every 2 weeks. I know for me, that's every 2 weeks. Sometimes it's a week and a half, depending on if I sweated more within that week or just other factors. Like if I just feel like my hair needs to be more clarified, I'll go like a week and a half. But most of the time for me, it's a week and a half or 2 weeks, and that's been consistent throughout my whole lock journey. And then before I had locks, when I had loose natural hair, it was also a week. I'm sorry, not a week. It was also every 2 weeks. So yeah, things like that. You want to be just overall more aware of what your body responds to best and what your hair responds to best, because honestly, it's the same thing. Like if you went to a professional and they start asking you questions, they're asking you questions to get an idea of what patterns you already have that could be contributing to dry scalp or whatever like that. So they might ask you the same questions. How often are you locking your hair? Locking your hair. How often are you washing your hair? How often are you soothing your scalp? And how much products are you putting, and what products are you using too? Let's get into the third thing, because this is a large factor. So the third thing that can affect your scalp itchiness is tight hairstyles. We don't want them to be tight. We want our hairstyles to be loose enough that our scalp can breathe. And if you get in them red, those bumps that you get around your hairline, that means your hairline is stressed. So I've seen a lot of lock styles, y'all, and I hope this ain't anybody on the Holistic Flow channel, right? But I've seen a lot of lock styles where your scalp is literally being pulled back into a tight ponytail. So your scalp is literally being stretched back, and then your hairline is screaming,
help me, I need freedom.
They screaming for freedom. Your hairlines, your baby hairs, they're screaming to be let out of jail because your hairstyle is too tight. So especially in the starter lock phase, you want to actually keep your hairstyles to a bare minimum. So just be more aware of how tight your hairstyles are. Now, one of the other things that can affect your scalp flakiness or irritation or itchiness is dry scalp. So in the same way that too much product on your scalp can cause itchy, dry, irritated scalp, too little product or not the right product on your scalp can cause it to be dry or itchy. So I'll tell this story because I feel like this is important to know. It's important to know what products work for you and what products don't work for you. When I first started my lock journey, I used to put a lot of oils on my scalp. I used to oil my scalp probably every other day. And this was when I had my baby locks. I'm talking about when I was like in between 1 and probably 4 months locked. I used to put oil on my scalp every single other day, every other day, whatever. I didn't find out until later on that was not good for my scalp because number one, my scalp wasn't used to being oiled that way. When I had loose natural hair, I did not oil my scalp every other week, maybe every week. But sometimes when you go into having locks after having loose natural hair too, your hair is different because your hair is in a different form. First of all, I feel like locks don't need nearly as much product as loose natural hair does. And then number two, for my scalp, it actually needs less oil. So I always saw like Instagram videos of after they get a retwist, because I did used to retwist my hair in the first couple of months. Now I don't at all. But after they get the fresh retwist, they go ahead and put the scalp and oil it all down and smother it down. And a lot of that, y'all, honestly, it's for aesthetics. A lot of those lock videos that you see on those Instagram reels and those YouTube reels of people getting a fresh retwist, and then after the retwist, the loctician or whoever it is just like puts that, so you see them like just drizzling it down as if they drizzling, honey on their locks or something like that. It looks really cool, honestly. So that's what I thought I had to do until I found out that my scalp could not breathe and my scalp was actually more itchy when I used more oils. So I have two things that I want to show you. Number one is that for me, and this is for me personally, I like to use a mist on my scalp instead of using oils directly on my scalp. Ever since I started using mist, whether it is a mix between like water and essential oils, or it is it has some aloe in it, which aloe is very healing for the scalp as well. It works better for me because it is diluted and it's not direct contact with your hair. Now, I will say different oils have different properties. So if you want to do your research on which oils might be best for you, then go ahead and do that. But off the top of my head, some really good soothing oils for the scalp are peppermint and lavender. Most likely you'll want to dilute those too because they are essential oils and they are more fragrant, and they're more concentrated, so you want to dilute them. Again, House of Isis So this is a big, huge plug for House of Ices here because I love their scalp mist. Honestly, I do. And this is what I use. So their scalp mist has lavender oil and peppermint oil in it, and it comes in a bottle that you can mist it. I just mist this all over my scalp, and I do this like every other day, literally. And this keeps my scalp from getting dry. So if you're a person who feels like you need a mist and you need to dilute your oils or use a combination of water and oil, or maybe aloe and oil. This doesn't have aloe in it, it just has water and oil, but something like this scalp mist is perfect for you. So again, the link is down below for House of Ices. But also, if you need a oil that is lightweight but still helps your scalp get the oil that it needs because you like direct oil, House of Ices also has this locked grooming oil. And these are oils in here. There are oils that are pretty essential for your lock health. There are oils such as olive and castor oil, and they're pressed. These are pressed oils, frankincense, patchouli, and chamomile. Let me tell you, the patchouli and the chamomile in here smells amazing. Like this is no lie at all. This is the best smelling oil I've ever used. So I really love using this. But yeah, it all depends because every single person is going to be different in how they need to handle their scalp. Some of you might need just more oil or different oil or different moisturizer than you're already using, maybe a lighter weight oil. Others may need a diluted type of oil, you know? So like I said, start asking yourself these questions. What oil am I already using? Am I using oil on my scalp? Do I need to stop using oils and maybe just use a mist, etc.? Right? So just start to ask your questions. Because again, if you go to a professional or a doctor, they're going to start asking you questions, these same questions, to kind of get to the root of your problem. So you can ask these same questions. You can be your own loctician, y'all. Just be more aware of what you're doing and how you can better serve your body with what you're putting in your body and on your body. Okay. So here's something that a lot of people don't consider when they think about their own dry scalp is how hydrated are you? Are you hydrating from the inside out? Are you drinking your water? Are you eating your fruits? That's a huge thing because not only are we to drink our water, but also are you getting the nutrients that your body needs? 80% of Americans don't eat enough fruit, you know, and it's even higher than that, the percentage of Americans that don't get enough vegetables. So those fruits and vegetables are there for us to consume water, not only by like directly drinking it, but also eating your water. Fruits have high water content, and in that water content, they also have other vitamins and nutrients that are great for our inner health, our bodily health. So are you eating your fruits? Are you hydrating from the inside out? Because most likely if your scalp is getting itchy around the perimeter, and this is a tip that I got from Chris McDread, who is an amazing loctician and has beautiful locks as well. He mentioned that if you have itchiness or flakes around your hairline especially, but in the middle of your hair, there's not much itchiness, there's not much dandruff or anything, it's mostly around the perimeter, that's an indication that you are dehydrated from the inside out. So did you know that your level of how much you drink your water is going to affect your hair? Also, the way that your body processes moisture is that the water that you consume today impacts your body tomorrow. So essentially, if you're feeling dehydrated today, or if you're feeling thirsty today, it might mean that yesterday you didn't get enough water, right? Food for thought. All right, one of the next reasons is hormonal imbalance, okay? So again, this might be something that maybe you'd want to track your habits, your activities. Are you getting this is a huge umbrella, right? Of are you getting enough sleep? That can affect your hormonal imbalance. Are you getting enough exercise? Are you getting enough of your sunlight throughout the day? Are you eating right? Are you eating your fruits and vegetables, your berries that are good for your brain? And are you whatever multivitamin that you take throughout the day. All of these things affect your hormonal imbalance, and that can affect your itchiness and your dryness of the scalp. So some more food for thought. Another one is, like I said before, sometimes your scalp simply can't breathe. So if you wear do-rags, or if you wear those, those like really tight lock caps, if you go to the gym, right? Where are my gym goers? Raise your hand. If you go to the gym and you wear those like lock caps, because they're really good for keeping the smell out of your locks, but then you keep your hair in that lock cap for a couple hours after you're at the gym, and you've already sweated from your scalp, so your scalp is still moist and the dampness is just sitting there. Number one, having a damp scalp for a long time is not good before you start to really dry your scalp, because you want to dry it. But then number two, your scalp can't breathe, because if you have it covered for a long time, then it can't get the air and the freedom and the moisture that it needs. So all of your efforts to try to change that person's situation or bring them up on the same level as you might be crippling the growth that they have to go through in order to transition into that state of mind seamlessly, or to transition into that state of mind in the way, in the season, in the grain of thinking, in the way that they need to do, or they need to tap in for their own personal transformation. Because your journey is different than the journey of every single person around you. So what you may need in this season might be what somebody might need in the next season, or the season after that, or 5 years down the line. But if it's not right now, it's okay. Those are one of the biggest factors of why your scalp is itchy. I also, among other things on this channel about mindset, lock maintenance, and I also talk about meditation. So my business is Black and Meditated. If you are a Black person and you want to become more mindful in your life, and you may not know that much about meditation, my mission is to encourage more Black people to meditate by normalizing it in the Black community. Mindfulness, meditation, and breath work, right? So you can take my free quiz in the link below to find out how meditated are you, meaning how ready are you to start meditating, or do you need more guidance on it? And I'll be happy to provide that guidance for you. So you can take my free quiz, the link is down below, or you can go to freequiz.blackandmeditated.com. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. What suggestions do you have for me for my next video? And I'll make sure to get those popping for y'all. Until then, I'm sending peace your way, love your way, and joy to you, your family, and your friends. All right, y'all. Peace.